Hi, beautiful.
How are you?
I am well. Oh my gosh, you are gorgeous.
Really? You're
Yes.
follow me around.
Love the look.
Yeah.
You're giving me the whole Black history, culture, African vibes. Love.
You know what? I've been so crazy. I actually forgot when I selected this top that it was African history, but I'm glad. I guess it's in me, so that's amazing.
Yes, it is. You look beautiful. So nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I have been a fan for many years. Of course, we know that you are an amazing actress, Baby Boy, House Party, just to name a few. I mean, I could be here till next Tuesday talking about all of your great accomplishments and achievements, and a fitness trainer, body is bomb.
Life coach with fitness as a focus, not a trainer,
Yes.
not a
Okay.
trainer.
No. Okay. Okay. So how come we don't use the word trainer? Explain that to me.
Because I feel like saluting fitness trainers, they're focused on fitness, they're
Okay.
focused um, on the body in terms of improving the body. The main
Mhm.
reason I use fitness in my life coaching is because mind, body, and soul, which is the complete wellness, it,
Okay.
it, it doesn't leave one of those out.
Okay.
So I don't when people think fitness trainer, I feel like the perception is more that we're just working out and it's all about the body and it's all about
Okay.
the physical, and that's this much of the healthy. And so I try to say nope, not trainer. The other way of it too is because I do a lot of pharmaceutical coaching.
Mm.
Um,
Oh.
my life coaching and my background as a pre-med major at Spelman, psychology, chemistry degrees.
Ooh.
I work with a lot of, exactly, see, I work with a lot of pharmaceutical companies and they don't hire trainers, to merge in
Mm.
corporations. They're hiring life coaches and wellness. So
Okay.
that's why we don't use trainer in my title, because it's bigger than that by God's design.
Okay. Yes, I love it. So one more time, is life coach
Life
with
coach, no, life coach. And just for
just life
me,
coach.
yes,
Okay.
and it's just in the style of life coaching, it's mind, body, and soul wellness. So fitness is in there, nutrition is in there, mental
Mm-hmm.
spirit is in there. Also, a fitness trainer doesn't deal with your spirit, and for me, your
Mm.
wellness starts in the spirit, including the workouts. It's all
Okay.
spiritual. So that's another thing that trainers don't do. So that's why I say, you know what? Let me leave them to what they do and call them trainers. What I do is a little different.
Gotcha. Oh my gosh, beauty and brains, girl. My goodness. I had no idea all the medical and the pharmaceutical and the woo. Yes, I love it. I love it.
Not
AJ Akua Johnson, so nice to have you today. Let's talk about life therapy. This show is amazing. I mean,
a,
come on, you're a life coach too. How many celebs, including Gabrielle Union, Beyonce, the other Beyonce? I mean, honestly, what led you to become a life coach?
I don't want to take credit for it. I don't feel like anything led me to be a life coach.
Mhm.
I think it was honestly that Hollywood was watching me figure out my life and
Okay.
what I wanted in it, mind, body, and soul. And as they started to see my success within myself, they started asking for my help, um,
Mm.
including Tisha Campbell, who of course is one of my sisters, my best friends. And she was
Yeah.
the one who said, I want to live in the AJ zone. I want to eat like AJ. I want to work out like AJ. I want to be in that zone. And I was like, that's it. That's what we're going to call it. It's the AJ zone. So it kind of unfolded organically in terms of it becoming a business and a brand of its own. Um,
Mhm.
and then as I traveled and more people heard me on the radio, saw me in magazines, saw me doing life coaching on shows, more and more people started asking me about it. And so
Mm.
I've got to now start to create programming for the non-celeb. So I built a website and started traveling, and doing seminars and pop-up workshops and conferences just so that other people could get the information. And next thing you know, TV networks started calling saying,
Yeah.
this is a perfect time in our world where people need
Yes.
the guidance, people need the support, people need the AJ zone kind of love. Will you come do a show with us? And so TV1 called, VH1 called, and now I'm juggling two shows.
Wow. I love it. I
I
love
say,
it.
every morning I wake up, I say, wow.
I was going to say, being in COVID going on 2 years now, probably a little bit longer than that. It's been two since we found out about it, if you will. And
Yeah.
just with the stresses of the world, in general, there are a lot of mental health issues that really need to be focused on. A lot of mental health facilities have been taken away because of budget cuts and things like that. And, unfortunately, more and more people, especially people of color, are taking their own lives. For instance, Chesley, who was the former Miss USA, Regina King's son, Ian Alexander Jr. What can you say as a life coach? How do you help people who may be experiencing some of these things or certain thoughts? That falls under life coaching as well, right? That would have a pretty big component.
I mean, listen, it's two answers in one. I'm so grateful that TV1 thought that it was necessary to open up these conversations and that they chose me to be the leader of the talk, because
Mhm.
I just feel like as a community, there's certain things that we're living with that we're not talking about. And it doesn't mean that you have to be for it or against it, but have the conversations, because I feel like our mental health starts with letting out your feelings, getting it out of your head, so to speak, not feeling so judged within yourself or by other people. And I feel like the first step in the healthier mind space is to feel comfortable to talk things out, not feel judged, not feel alone. And that's where the first thing comes from. On Life Therapy, we're tackling subject matter that even I am new to. I mean, so far we've got 7 episodes left. So
Yeah.
far, we've covered fibroid health, we've covered financial health, we've covered lupus, we've covered my brother Mario Stinchcomb, who was wrongfully imprisoned. We covered him getting his life back after 20 years incarcerated wrongfully. I mean, we're
Wow.
covering episodes coming up on Life Therapy. Life Therapy include sex trafficking,
Mhm.
include losing a child to murder, and the case is still open. How does a family move on when that's basically the root of what's going on? So I mean, life therapy is covering so many different areas that we as a
Yeah.
people played with. But again, going back to the community, we're just not talking. We've been raised in families where even as much as like incest, molestation, we got to talk about it. We got to
Yes.
talk about it to heal from it. We have to talk about it to hopefully prevent it in our families and in our communities. So my main thing, to answer your question after all of that, my main thing,
Mhm.
we have to talk about it. We have to
Mhm.
open up and talk about it. Sexuality, sexual choices. The big thing happening right now is, and I'm being transparent with some of my life choices, and everybody's going crazy. But really, the thing is, it's not about judging whether you're for it or against anything. It's about
Mhm.
having the conversation and hearing what makes people comfortable in their choices, as opposed to judging and shaming each other. That's what we
Mhm.
have to move out of. And I
Yeah.
feel like with less judgment, with less shaming, with less unmet expectations, with more feelings of belonging and less alone, I think
Mhm.
we help battle a lot of this suicide in this time that we're seeing. You have to, I personally feel like no matter who you're talking to, no matter who your friends are, no matter what your facade is, there's a loneliness and a feeling of not belonging that makes you feel like over is the better choice.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
deep, that
Yes.
someplace inside you're feeling like I don't want to be here. I'm done.
Mm.
I'm not contributing. There's not enough contributing to me. And so we have to start having more conversations so people feel less alone.
Yeah, and your show, I mean, it really allows people the opportunity to see that, look, these are like major celebrities who are going through some of the same things that regular everyday people like me or whoever else would go through as well. So I think it's a great outlet in that regard, that it lets people see, like, okay, if this person can be transparent about their situation, then surely I can be. So thank you for all that you do, because I mean, that really allows people the opportunity to say, maybe I can come forward. Maybe I can talk to somebody about this when they
I
see
grew up,
others.
I'm going to tell you, I grew up in a very communicative family environment.
Mhm.
Even if it wasn't about me, we had family meetings at our dining room table where we all decided, or at least heard concerns from each of us in the family, whether it was relationship, um, are you going to college or not, what's happening on the basketball team in high school. Everything was a family talk. And
Yeah.
so I know there's a lot of people that didn't have that. So for me, it's natural to talk things out. The least I
Mhm.
can do is share that and say, I know that it helped me even back then as I grew up. It's got to help all of us now. It sounds small, but it warrants such big results to just
Yeah.
feel comfortable talking things out.
Hmm. What's the typical day like for a life coach? I mean, do you get up and work out? Like, what exactly is it like? I mean, I find it to be quite interesting, and I thought maybe, okay, maybe one day I could be like a life coach or a motivational speaker or something like that. But you gotta be like the bomb in just about every category in life.
I got to tell you, I am actually constantly learning what it means
Hmm.
because the elevation and the overflow that I've been blessed with. I'm juggling two shows that are in production. I'm
Yeah.
juggling maintaining a clientele that has nothing to do with my TV shows. I'm also dealing with even the guests from the shows. A lot of them I'm still in touch with and talking, and
Oh,
because I
nice.
been on IG Live on Wednesday.
Hmm.
The show airs 10 p.m. Tuesday nights on TV1, and then Wednesdays we do a IG Live. The therapy continues because when the cameras go off, the therapy doesn't stop.
Right.
And so we're doing an IG Live the next day to talk to the guests from the show, see how they're doing in their steps forward, and take people from the IG audience and say, is this something that is also that in your family that you're dealing with, and do you want to talk about it? So there's a lot of different avenues that get filled for me in my style
Yeah.
of life coaching. I can't speak for any other life coach, but in terms of that, I'm so busy serving. I'm now, I'm trying to figure out how I also make sure I stay in my self care in terms of my
Okay.
workout position. I'm traveling a lot.
Yes.
I just returned to the U.S. from about a month and a half in Africa. So
Wow.
my food is different. My rest and sleep is different. The water's different. So I have to acclimate again in the
Mhm.
midst of this overflow. So, girl, I'm trying to figure it out too. And that's what life therapy is. How do you figure it out?
Yes, yes. Now, do you sometimes, as a life coach, do you sometimes take on the problems or some of the issues of some of your clients?
That's a really good question. In my beginning days as a life coach, I did. Um,
Mhm.
I'm a very sensitive person, so as a life coach, it's easy to get a little too deep into
Yeah.
into what's going on with someone, because I knew that professionally there were going to have to be boundaries I had to set. There's life experiences that showed me what boundaries and when. So, for example, even in my friendships, a lot of times my friends want to have what I consider coaching conversations, and I have to be the one to maintain the separateness. There's
Mm.
behavior that happens as us as friends, and then there's
Mhm.
behavior and conversation that can be client life coach. I don't mix those two. It's like I'll tell
Okay.
my friends that's a life coach session. We can do that later. Right now, we're in a friendly conversation. So either we stay
Got it.
friendly, switch over into life coach because I don't
Mhm.
want them thinking that me as a life coach is the same as their friend. I may give different advice as a life
Yeah.
coach I would as their friend. You feel me?
Yeah.
So that's a difference. But also, I've learned, and I'm still learning. I've learned how to maintain a professional relationship with a lot of clients. And I got to tell you, I'm so busy that I can't afford to get emerged in one client situation.
Okay.
I keep it professional in terms of the advice I give. My style is to give a lot of homework. So there's a lot of work that you're going to do on your own to help yourself
Oh.
forward. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. There's a lot of work that each client has to do on their own outside of me. A lot
Mhm.
of conversation, a lot of self exploration to get to some of these answers. So I also think it's a style of coaching that helps me, create healthy boundaries for the work so that I don't absorb too much of it.
Now, if someone comes to you and they're like, "Oh my God, AJ, you helped me tremendously. My life's amazing now. I'm on track. I'm on board." What is the level of gratification?
Ooh, the fact that you're even asking me that means that there's got to be some. So, in order to do this work, I came into it even surrendering to what I felt like the divine calling on my life to serve was.
Mm.
And so I think we're all here for service. We just have to
Yes.
figure out what that is. And a lot of people call it purpose. So a purpose-driven life is a life that's driven by serving, I
Yeah.
feel. And
Yes.
so as we each try to figure out how do we serve, I feel like we all learn that serving is where the real reward is. The real
Mm,
blessing that we're looking for to receive is in how much we give. And so, you hit the nail on the head. The level of gratitude, even in just minutes, I can see someone's eyes. And in
mm,
online therapy, the good thing is I'm coaching real time. So there's not a lot of edit. There's not a lot of produced content in the
okay.
episode. What you see is what you get on the show. So
Hmm.
I love being able to see the awareness change, the light bulb
Hmm.
go, someone real time thinking about what I'm saying and realizing that there is a different choice that could be better. There is a
Yes.
level of belief in themselves or in how God works for them to even just try or just
Hmm.
think of trying something new and different. And that to me is where it starts. If that's all I get, I mean, I've gotten a lot of breakthroughs, which is also godly on the show. The show's
Hmm.
42 minutes. Sometimes breakthroughs with a client take 6 months. And on
Yes.
the show, it's coming like this. Breakthroughs are coming like this. And I don't
Yeah.
know with
Yeah.
clients and all of us trying to figure out how we serve. Um, I'm honored that so many people think I'm so good at this. I just feel like what I'm
Mm,
doing is I'm serving in a lane that I've studied. I'm serving in a lane that I've certified in. I'm serving in a lane where my life experience can hopefully be an example in some way or another to someone else to give them more hope and faith as they move forward. I feel like I'm just sharing. That's all I'm doing.
mhm,
I'm
mhm.
trying to live transparent. I'm trying to live authentically because I know how that can also teach people by example.
Yeah.
So that's my style of coaching. So the gratitude, like I said, the gratitude of seeing somebody understand that their situation is not lost, that
Mhm.
they're that how they've been thinking could just change in a second. And all of a sudden now they have a different way to look at life and what they're going through. That I can't even talk about the degree of gratitude and overwhelming grace I feel. I gotta say
Mhm.
grace too, because again, it's different than normal when you're serving.
Yeah.
The grace comes in because it's hard to explain. It's spiritual. It's not logical.
Mhm.
It's a spiritual thing, if that makes any sense.
Oh,
Um,
absolutely it does.
to walk knowing that I'm helping to change people and to
Yes.
enhance people's lives. That just feels like I've been given the gift of grace.
Mhm.
I don't know if
Yes.
that makes sense, but that's what it
Oh gosh,
feels like.
it makes so much sense because
I hope.
I have the same situation. I've always wanted to be a TV personality and cover red carpets and entertainment news and stuff. And for many years I prayed. I'm like, Lord, why do you have me in radio? I have no
Right.
interest in radio like that. But every day I come into this radio station, I look at this microphone and I say, it's all his divine plan for my life. It's what he wants for me. It's not what I want for myself. So I
Yeah.
come in here, if I can say a word that's going to enlighten or empower or encourage somebody in between this R&B music, that's what I am here for, to minister. So my job, it's not an occupation to me, it's ministry, because you never know whose life you can affect. So I'm feeling you on that spiritual thing, sis. I'm feeling it like
Exactly.
100%.
That,
Yes.
and I salute you for saying yes to it. Because there's a lot of us that feel what we feel, but we're still saying no to it and
Mm,
wondering why we feel confused or wondering why there's a level of unhappiness, although we've got a great job and we're making great money and we're doing something every day, but wondering why we feel like a robot. And it's
yeah.
because the soul is empty in that space.
Yeah.
So, if you didn't realize before, part of my break from acting, a lot of people say I pivoted. That's fine. I didn't walk away from it. I took a
Mm,
break because I was feeling that kind of empty. That was my job. And I kind of felt like I wasn't being fulfilled in that job. You know, I was
mm,
I was at the top of it. I'm doing movies, I'm doing TV, I'm working with top talents, Julia Roberts, Whoopi Goldberg, Sylvester Stallone, Alfred Woodard, Cicely Tyson. I mean, the blessing of who I've had a chance to work with is beyond, but I wasn't happy. And so
mm,
that means my soul needed something different and something more. And so now, years later, as I'm able to do both, I can now say, again, from experience, as an example, that's what I was missing. I was missing my soul work, and I was missing, and it's still passion, soul work, passion work, but I was missing my soul being fulfilled at the same time that I was being creative and passion driven. Now that I can do both, oh my goodness, I call it overflow.
Mm, I love it. I love it. An overflow of blessings. So you've got Life Therapy on TV1,
Yes.
Tuesdays at 10 p.m. Eastern, and then VH1 Couples Retreat. Whew,
Couple Retreat, season 2 coming. So exciting.
for you. Can you give us a little scoop on what to expect, or like we got to keep that hush hush?
Well, I'll say this. The first season was focused on celebrity couples that we all knew, and probably their issues that we all knew. And we were trying to see if I could help them move forward as a couple, or decide that they didn't need to move forward anymore. But again, just to get to their truth. That was the
Yeah.
whole that's the whole point of the show. How are they doing? And is the truth their relationship, or is the truth that maybe it's time to move on? That's kind of the focus of where I come in. So season 2, we're diving even deeper. We're diving even deeper to the truth, sis. So I'm not going to say who's on, but
Okay.
we use a lot of new exercises and a lot of great new conversation. I think it's going to be really enjoyable, not just from a celebrity standpoint, but now season 2, everybody knows what you're coming on for. The first is kind of a surprise that I'm there, and we're doing therapy. Now, your people are signing up already. Like, I want to be on our relationship.
I love it.
Right. So it's a little different this time. People are coming on knowing what they're up against. So I don't have to walk on eggshells as much as I did season 1. So that's the other thing.
Great, man. 2 amazing shows, Life Therapy, Couples Retreat, something that we all can relate to. You know what I mean? We all live this thing called life. We're all eventually going to be in a relationship if we aren't already. And on this note, before I let you go, sis, speaking of relationships and couples, and you've been trending lately, ma'am. So
I've kind of been trending. Isn't that something?
I'm just gonna talk about it real briefly.
We don't have to talk about it briefly. Let's talk about it. That's why I talk about it.
Johnson. So you had a threesome.
I did. Not just threesome. I had a threesome with 2 men, 2 amazing men. And one of the things I want to say is that because I'm learning there's such a stipulation on the threesome thing, what I want to say is I've learned that from the response that I have to start saying there's a difference between the threesome that we as a community know and a polyamorous connection. There's a difference.
Okay.
And, I decided, honestly, I wasn't being satisfied, not just sexually, but I wasn't being satisfied mentally, spiritually, emotionally in the relationships that I was monogamously involved in.
Okay.
And so I figured there were different things I wanted to try. I wanted to try traveling, meaning men from different cultures. I had never thought about that. We think as African Americans, we think it's just America. And I was like, you know what? I want to travel and try different food, different music, different clothes, different jewelry, have different conversations with different men. And so as I began to travel, I started to see where I was connecting deeper spiritually with men who were not necessarily American based.
Okay.
And not only so much in terms of open sexually, but just in terms of culture, like Senegal. Senegal, it's legal to have 4 wives. Not every Senegalese man is going to do that, but it's still legal. And so a lot of times the men who do have more than one wife, the wife is focused on a different role in that relationship. But the connection is very polyamorous. We as Americans, we look at, oh, well, that's not cool. But yet a lot of us are cheating. So it's like, well, which is it? Are we going to cheat, or are we going to be polyamorous and say maturely, you're not the only one. You serve a role in my life as a woman or a man. And if we can all be okay with that, that may be a really beautiful thing. And so these 2 gentlemen, they had been friends of mine. I knew they were friends. We were having a good time anyway, outside of that romantic connection, and an amazing friendship got romantic and then a little hot and heated that night. And it was beautiful. It's the best experience of intimacy. It's the best experience of intimacy I've had. It's the best sensuality I've had. And so that's what I want to share with people. Everybody's talking about, oh, she was in a train. No, what that's saying is that's all you know. That's all
Yeah.
you want to hear of a woman
Yeah.
with. And what I'm saying is, I'm here to open your mind and your life experience to know that there can be more than that. And that's why I say it was polyamorous. And sis, it changed my life.
Wow. Would it happen again?
Possibly, yeah. I
Okay.
mean, where I am now is I'm probably more polyamorous than I am monogamous at this
Okay.
point in my life.
Hmm.
A lot of American men are not necessarily into that, so it helps me
Hmm.
date outside of the African American man.
Hmm.
But again, my whole thing is more than my choices. I want the conversation to open. That's what the life therapy is, right? It's
Yes.
conversation. I want the conversation to open up to, well, if you're not okay to explore, why not?
Hmm.
Why not?
Hmm.
A lot of these men making comments in my Instagram about that's a train. I'm like, okay, I don't care what you call it. I need you to hear me say, you're not going to shame me with your terms. I
Yeah.
have best experiences of my life. Maybe you should ask me about that. Like maybe
Mm.
ask your girl, are you enough?
Oh, okay.
Let's have the conversation, because there's
Yes.
a lot of women doing it and not talking about it. So,
Yes.
and there's a lot of men who are saying, if I want to keep my wife or my girlfriend, I need to be up on what makes her happy. Well, she may not be saying this, she may be cheating. So which would you rather? Would you rather know that I have someone else I'm also in a relationship with? And do you want to get to know him? Again, this is not sexual. Everybody thinks
Right.
it's just sexual. It's just a
Right.
matter of, would you want me to cheat and you not know it and I'm sneaking behind your back? Or would you want to know not only that I'm doing it, but who it is? And hopefully you all could possibly be friends, knowing that we have this love relationship shared. It's not for everybody. But what's not for me and what wasn't for me is thinking I was in a not monogamous relationship and find
Yeah.
out later that the man was cheating.
Wow.
That,
That's
that's
tough.
what I got tired of. That's what I got
Hmm.
tired of. So I said, you know what? I'm going to make some different choices for myself, and I'm going to do it to where I don't have to lie or cheat. What does that look like?
Hmm. Hmm.
What does it look like if I'm not lying or cheating when I say you're not enough for me? What does it look
Hmm.
like if I'm not going to lie and cheat and I'm now not going to fake orgasms anymore? And I'm going to
Hmm.
tell you that you're not really doing it for me because our connection's not great. But I love when we go to play basketball, and I love when we go to the movies. But romantically, we're not a fit. I don't necessarily think we have to stop spending time together, but I want to be honest with you and
Yeah.
myself with, where is the pleasure? The pleasure
Hmm.
is going to the basketball game. The pleasure is checking out a movie. The pleasure is going roller skating. If it stops there, okay, great. That's what we have. You see what I
Hmm.
mean? So
Yeah.
can I now explore with someone else? Not saying you're not the man, but can I also explore with someone else? So now basically what I'm saying is, I don't know if I'm monogamous anymore.
Okay. That's
You're
your choice, right?
right.
Your choice. Whatever makes you happy. I'm all about people being who they are, allowing people to be who they are. At one point, I'm sure we all were like, oh my gosh, what? But no, as I grow and mature in life and I experience things, you have to let people be who they are and continue to love and respect them for who they are. You know what I mean? So I would never pass judgment or anything like that. Even when I saw the story, I just chuckled like, oh, I can't wait to talk to her about that. That's what I
And
did.
let
I
me
wasn't like,
also, you
ugh.
know, let me also say this, the main reason why, because I don't even deal with age. There's no reason for me to. I did it when I spoke of age when I did the interview, because I
Mhm,
wanted women and men to understand, just like what you just said, we
mhm.
grow in our lives to see what works for us and what doesn't. Think about the
Yes.
fact that, as a maturing woman, I no longer needed the financial stability that a man would offer. I
Mm,
no longer needed, I didn't, I wasn't necessarily interested in having kids as I got into being in my late 30s and 40s. Not so
mhm.
much it wouldn't happen, but my life had blown to where I was more interested in the work and the travel than what motherhood would do for me. So now in that age range, I'm making these decisions where what I would need in a monogamous relationship, I more want the connection with the man, not
Mhm.
necessarily the needs of a monogamous relationship. So now,
Right.
point of my life, I want a good travel partner. I want great business opportunities. I want fun. I want. There's other things I don't need that
Yeah.
we were getting in a monogamous relationship.
Mhm. I
So
get
that's
it.
where it also comes from. So I want to say to sisters as well as brothers, make sure that the relationship you're in is exactly what you think it is. Have the conversations, talk about it, right?
Mhm.
Make sure you know what the relationship really is. And also make sure you're being honest with yourself with what you want and need.
Yeah.
Don't settle. Don't be trapped in something because you're afraid to live your truth, whatever that is.
Right. Great advice. Thank you for that, Miss Life Coach. Appreciate it. I love it. AJ Akua Johnson, beautiful actress, life coach. These great shows, Life Therapy again, TV1, 10 p.m. Eastern on Tuesdays. And the celebs, these couples retreat on VH1. You are doing the most. I can't keep track, but keep doing what you're doing. Much love to you. And hopefully we can talk soon. Hopefully I won't have to come on your show like, girl, I need some help. But hey, if I do, I know who to call first.
I think before that, you'll probably be one of my guest coaches that comes on because like you said, you're in the ministry too, sis. So light worker to light worker. If we get a season 2, you're going to come help me with somebody.
Would love it.
Would love
Yay!
it.
Thank you so much. May God continue to bless you in all that you do. Much love to you.
Thanks.